It's the Logan Power Show. Inspirational and motivational. It's the Logan Power Show. Informational to help you grow. Logan Power Show. And now the host, Calvin Logan.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Logan Power Show. It's me, your host, Calvin Logan, and I thank you for tuning in for another episode here at the Logan Power Show. Not only we're here to empower you, the people, for who are watching, but empowering our guests who are coming to bless us here at the Logan Power Show. So I got me her first time here in the Logan Power Show. She's a doctor, well-renowned. She has her business where she's going to talk to you more about it, be inventing, but she also helps you make your money. And like I tell you again, you want her in your life. And she's the one and only Dr. Shanna M Scott. How you doing, ma'am?
Hello, Calvin Logan, the Calvin Logan. It's so nice to be here.
Yes, it's glad to have you here, Dr. Scott.
Yes,
It's a blessing to have you. So let's talk about, you mentioned that you have your business. Let's focus on
absolutely.
your business, and then let's go from here. Floor is yours.
All right. Yeah. All right. I am Dr. Shanna M Scott, and I am an event strategist. And what that is primarily is an event planner on steroids. I align event plans with money plans to ensure profitable results for my clients. So I work with speakers, authors, coaches, subject matter experts to ensure that they massively fill their programs and make probably their last year's revenue in a fraction of the time. For the most part, about 3 days.
Wow. Okay, so let's get this right now. Father, Son, Holy Ghost. That's 3 days. She gonna make you some money. So we know making money is not easy, but there are people who've able to make money. We just had a report from CNN that showed that the top 10% of the world made close to almost an actual $5 to $8 trillion. Their money pretty much went to a skyrocketing during the pandemic from 2020 to it started March to it was allocated in Forbes of November of 2021, a huge significant increase of fluctuation of money. So you mentioned that you are the strategist person.
Yes.
Is there one thing in particular? Because I know we don't give all the strategies out on today, but is there one particular strategy that we need to be, that you say sort of like your go-getter strategy? This is the one that's the bread and butter from there. So tell us what one of those strategies we need to know.
Absolutely. And just as you said, what the study, you're absolutely correct. You are your own stimulus check. I was able to take my business to 6 figures in the pandemic, in the matter of March to December, whenever it started. And I help my clients do the same. And the one strategy that I would say right now is figure out who your ideal client is. And I'll say why really quick. When you find out the people who are in pain, who your respective package or solution or offer actually gives resolve to, then you can go for it from there. And I say that because just think about it. If in the event, like say for instance, you're a doctor, okay, and you have a headache. All right. So if you have a headache, then you want to say to this doctor, hey, I have this headache. And if you're in pain enough, you are going to take action. So I say that to say, depending on whatever you're offering, look for those people who are looking for what you actually offer. Okay. A lot of times we get on Facebook or our respective spaces and we start saying, hey, I have this. Hey, I have this. And they're not your target market. You want to be able to speak to your target market, the people who want your goods and services. And I say all the time to people, I'm like, I don't care how nice a tanning bed website looks, how nice the messaging is, how amazing it looks. I'm not going to buy a tanning bed whatsoever. I'm not going to do that. But for the things that I am in the market and I'm looking for, those are the things that I will buy without a fraction of a thought. And I say that to people. I say this to you. If you are selling your service, product, good, get in front of the people who want your services. Don't worry about the people who are not looking for a red ink pen or, a red hat. You want to look for the people who are looking for those things, because if you are in front of the wrong people, it will totally crush your confidence. It'll crush your whole entire soul, and then you'll give up. Make sense?
Makes sense. Totally makes sense. I want people who are listening to, let's piggyback off that's another example. What does Amazon focus their customer service on? It's pretty much delivery. That's all they do. That and Prime Video. That's their main focus. Is how can I make a Prime customer feel wanted by making sure your services are there in a timely fashion. I can get to you on Sunday. And then my number two is I'm gonna entertain you with Prime Video and put movies across the board because people want to be entertained. And I'm getting with music. Because really honest with you, you can't sue Amazon for a package that somebody else made. You're gonna say, I'm a Prime customer. Well, they will give you a refund. But their major thing is they're the middle person. So their target audience is finding people who don't feel they want to make that travel to the grocery store or travel to the store. I want it right in front of my house at this time. My package that I order online can come right to my doorstep. And I think that's what we have to understand. Like you just mentioned, Dr. Scott, that we have to know our target audience, who we are, and go from there.
It is so, so, so imperative. Once you figure out your target audience, and that's the people who love your services and who are wanting your services, it is pretty much smooth sailing from there. A lot of us, whenever we start our business, we think that we can sell to everybody, especially family and friends, and they're not our market. And then we get very, very discouraged when we're not making the money. And I just want to say, across the board, just as you said with the stats, there is no shortage of money. And you got to think about money as the ocean. If you go there and you have even if you have a big, 18-wheeler container truck, it's still not it's not impacting that ocean. So, and you got to think about it like that. That's how many people and how much money is out there in the world. You go in and you grab your buckets and you go out there and you go forward. There is no shortage at all.
Well, Dr. Stott, you're speaking a handful. There's no shortage in the ocean. That is true. There's not one man-made machine that can swallow up a third of the ocean's floor. That's how much the water is impactful. And I think that's what we have to understand, the importance of knowing your lot, knowing your journey, and know what God has a plan for you.
Yes.
Well, Dr. Scott, we appreciate you.
Yeah, no worries. I have built my business on the biblical principle, Deuteronomy 8:18. God gives us the ability to build wealth. And I went to college. I got a job. My first job out of college was 21.5. And I could not take care of myself. I didn't even know what to ask for. And for loads of years, I lived in poverty. I'm a single mom. Well, my daughters are 24 now, and we had all the WIC, food stamps, all of that. And I hated it because I was like, I went to college. They told me if I went to college, I would have money. It wasn't until, Calvin, I used my God-given gift and that was when I was able to make multiple six figures in my business. This year, I'm scheduled to make my first 7. There's no employer out there that was going to pay me what I paid myself. And that is why I do what I do, because I want to let people know that there is no shortage. And the gifts that you already have is what God has given you. And he has given us the ability to build our own wealth. And we have to use that talent. And I'll stop there because I'll talk all day about this. But we all know the parable of the talents.
Yes.
But you got to use that 10
Got to use that 10. So
Yeah.
let's, ladies and gentlemen, right here. You heard Dr. Scott here live at the Logan Power Show. I want you to understand this. She's telling you it's not how you start, it's how you finish. Understand this. Faith without works is dead. Second Corinthians 5, verse 7, for we walk by faith, not by sight. And finally, Hebrews chapter 11, verse 1. Now faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. So what is not what you see now is what you can envision yourself. So let's envision greatness and let's keep Dr. Scott in business because she said seven figures is 2022. So that means 2023, she wants God to double. And then within the next 10 years, she's telling God, man, I'm in the 8-figure range because you want to be able to tell the Lord, it's how you, not how you start, it's how you finish. She wants to be able to say when her daughter hits 34 that she has enough money in the bank that her daughter can live off the fruits of her labor and be able to expand and make the business into almost a 9-figure commodity of plethora of knowledge that we will be able to make a difference. So ladies and gentlemen, let us take care of one another. Let God have the glory. Hey, we'll be right back at this quick commercial break with our special guest. And thank again
We
for
are
watching the
tuned
Logan Power Show
into Event
nationwide,
Center,
worldwide.
where the ideals of your special occasion become a manifestation. Contact us today at 803-626-9150.
Hey, we're back live at the Logan Power Show. You just heard Dr. Scott. She was talking about how life can change with an actual of your talent that God has given you. So now we're going to how God's going to heal you. And she is the one and only Mrs. Sherri Hill. How you doing, Miss Hill?
I'm wonderful. Thank you for having me, Calvin. Thank you so much.
Yes, ma'am. And let's talk about your business. You say you got a way to help us inside and out.
Yes.
So the floor is yours.
Yes. So it's really ironic how I even came across my calling because prior to COVID, I worked in the entertainment industry all of my life. I managed celebrities, I worked for a record label, but during the pandemic, when we all got shut down and got into lockdown, it got me into my feelings. You know what I mean? So I started to realize that I had some emotional blockages that needed to be some attention paid to. And you know, the funny thing is being a counselor or healer, you are always your first patient because until you can heal yourself, it's impossible to heal anybody else. So it was like the perfect isolation period for me going through COVID. And I had the opportunity to really trace my traumas. And that is a something I've coined for myself is tracing traumas because when you can trace your traumas, you can then get out of your own way. You can stop self-sabotaging yourself, all of that. There are so many things in the world that we can do. But the first thing that has to be done is to get our mind right. We have to prepare ourselves. It's like going on a trip. You go on a trip, you have to get your car ready, you go get a tune up, you get your tires checked, you get your engine checked. And it's the same thing when we get ready to prepare for life. We got to check ourselves. We got to find out what type of traumas are still following us because a lot of us, we're 30, 40, 50 years old, but our 3-year-old is still showing up to most of our situations because that's where our traumas are. We bury them, we suppress them, and we think that they're gone away, but they show up in every situation, every relationship, every job, everything that we do as adults. Your trauma shows up. So I just really took that opportunity. Once I saw this significant change that it made in my life, it was just like an aha moment where I felt like I lost 300 pounds in a matter of weeks. Just getting rid of all of those pressures, getting rid of the insecurities, getting rid of the feelings of abandonment, all of those, the feelings of insecurity, not being good enough, all of those things are traced back to our childhood traumas. And I just made a pact that, oh my God, like this is so impactful. I want to do this for other people. So I went back to school. I obtained 9 certifications during COVID. I'm a certified life coach, a certified spiritual life coach, I'm a master Reiki practitioner where I help you to heal your energy. I'm also a yoga practitioner. I'm a meditation facilitator. I practice Ho'oponopono. So for me, it's all about a return to love, because that's what God is all about. He is love. And when we fall out of love with ourselves, it's like messing up your engine. And I teach people how to come back to love, how to come, because when you find yourself, you find God. And when you find God, you find yourself. So it's all, we're all in one. And it is the most powerful thing that you can do in your life. It gives you that fire under you that you lost. It gives you back that confidence that you need to be whatever you need. So you can then be ready for the doctor to put that money in your pocket. You know what I mean? But you got to get that head right first. You got to. And that's my job. I am the mental pain healer. I study mental pain, childhood traumas, all of that is my life now. And I love it because I've helped so many women. I'm on YouTube. We had a 90-day challenge not too long ago. And after that 90-day challenge, I had women who were so broken to become authors, become speakers, to become YouTube influencers. So I'm just real excited about my new calling and where God is taking me. And it just gives me so much fulfillment to be able to get people out of their own way.
Absolutely. We want to get people out their own way. The Bible talks about death and life in the power of the tongue, and they that love will eat the fruit thereof. In
Yes.
Proverbs chapter 18, verse 21. We know that the battles in the mind, we know that it can impact so many people. What I would take a look at this point is we know that it can be definitely something that can impact so many. So we want you at this point to tell us, is there a certain situation, a certain, I guess, problem that you can say that maybe a certain person that you've helped that may have gone through this mental state that you can recall that you say, you know what, I know that I was built for this.
Right.
A lot of times we can talk about 1,001 things, but
Right.
giving a testimony of how one thing sort of changed you.
Right. So for me, it all started with relationship issues. I went through a really bad breakup, and that's what made me realize that I had some issues, because no one person leaving your life is supposed to upset it that bad. The only person that's supposed to be that important in your life is yourself and God. And it made me realize that I had extreme low self-esteem, that I did not love Sherri. And the thing about that is that I always tell my clients, the definition of a power couple to me is two people who love themselves. People always want to measure power couples by what's in their bank account, how they living. None of that means nothing. If you look at these celebrities who are getting a divorce at record numbers, they married today and divorced tomorrow. That tells you that the money, the power has nothing to do with being a real power couple. Being a real power couple is two people who've learned self-love, two people who understand that until they love themselves, they are incapable of loving somebody else. So I found my self-love. My first book, I now have 8 books on Amazon, but my first one was called A Self-Love Journey, because through this relationship, I realized that I was putting too much importance on other people and not on Sherri. And that's where my lessons began. And because of that, I've attracted a lot of women who go through that same thing, coming to me broken from relationships. And really, it stems way back, because I was able to trace my traumas back to my relationship with my father. My father was absent in my life and caused a lot of emotional trauma. And then as a result, I became extremely codependent on men. And as a result, when I would get into relationships, I was always getting hurt because I was always trying to do too much, to prove too much, to bring too much to the table, and forgetting that I was the prize. You know what I mean? So that is the one niche that I've used to really pull a lot of people into me, because a lot of people realize their traumas through relationships. Doesn't mean that that's where it started, but it does mean that that's where we realize our traumas, is when we get hurt, when we get put in pain. That's when we realize, okay, there's some stuff here that needs to be fixed. So as a result of that, I've been able to help a lot of women pull back and get more secure and remember where they lost themselves. And that's so important.
Mm. And I want people who are listening right now to really take this in and soak it in, is figure out, when did you lose you? And then
Mm-hmm.
also, once you figure out when you lost yourself, then how can God heal me
Exactly.
to get that from there? Because sometimes people always say, well, love is going to heal my broken places. That's not going to do it.
Mm-mm.
I that's a lie from the pit of hell. People make
Yeah,
it
for
sound
real.
uh, when you marry somebody, you got to be whole yourself before you say,
Absolutely.
I'm gonna walk down this aisle. Take it from personal experience. I've been married, and I know that I'm healed, and I was whole, and me and my wife are whole together. So it takes a village too. You have to acknowledge your hurt and your pain,
Absolutely.
and know that pain is real. You know,
Absolutely.
and it's okay to cry. It's okay to share your testimony. Um,
Absolutely.
but it's
There
it,
is no one person in this earth. There's all of us have suffered some type of trauma. There
Yes,
is
ma'am.
not one person that's here on this earth living this experience that can say they've not experienced pain, trauma of some sort. And the problem is that as a child, we're not taught how to deal with trauma. We are only taught love when we come here. We know love because that's what we were made of. But when we start getting introduced to things like abandonment, fear, not feeling good enough, not being accepted, those things stick with us. And we don't know what to do with it. So as a human being, we go into fight or flight mode. And neither one of those modes are good. Okay. Neither one of those modes are good. We have to learn how to calm down and respond rather than to react to things. And that's my biggest thing, is like, let's just take responsibility. Until you take responsibility for your own happiness, you will forever be looking for it, because you can't marry somebody thinking they're going to make you happy. You can't go to a job thinking it's going to make you happy. You can't buy a house thinking it's going to make you happy. Happiness is not a material thing. Okay, it is only gained from within, and you are the only person who can give you happiness. You have to learn that people are accessories and not necessities. And that's where we go wrong a lot of times.
And absolutely. And you are speaking the truth. And I think that we need to understand the importance of the time, and understand that we are making a difference. Ladies and gentlemen, I want you all who are listening here, Miss Sherri Hill is giving you some insight to make you a better person. I want you all to understand that God has a plan for you. Get some help today. There's nothing wrong with getting help. Sharing your testimony, nothing wrong with sharing it. You don't have to share it with everybody, because sometimes testimonies can be used against you. So
Right,
be careful who you share with, because not everyone's your friend.
right.
God's got a plan for us. So I want you all who are watching, let's stay tuned and stay locked. My name is Calvin of the Logan Power Show, nationwide, worldwide, where we're impacting not just the small people, but the big and large. And God's got a plan for us. Stay tuned. To God be the glory. Y'all have a blessed day, and we're signing off.
Thank you.
It's the Logan Power Show. Inspirational and motivational. It's the Logan Power Show. Informational to help you grow. Logan Power Show.